Hello, folks. Welcome to Scratch the Surface. My name's EJ Scott. Today, my guest is Eva Solveig. She's an actress, and most recently, I have seen her on the show Jon Glaser Loves Gear on True TV, and it's such a funny show, and she's great on it. And I was lucky to just reach out to her and see if she'd do my podcast, and she was very, very kind to agree to a total stranger. Before I get into what we talked about, I'd like to give myself a plug. Follow me on Twitter at EJ Scott and at EJ Podcast. Go to my website, ejscott.com. I'm raising money for charity. Go to crowdrise.com/7on7. That's the number 7 on the number 7. A few years ago, I did 12 marathons in 12 states, blindfolded, for charity. And a documentary was made about it called Running Blind. You could find it on iTunes, Amazon, and Google Play. And for $2 or $3, you can rent it or buy it. And I think it's a good investment for $2 or $3. And it's a 30-minute documentary. It's done very well by a guy I know named Ryan Suffern. And I hope you will check it out. And maybe it'll inspire you to do something you never thought in a million years you would do. That's what happened to me. So, I did that because I am losing my eyesight to an eye disease called choroideremia, and I am legally blind now. It runs in my family. I have a brother and 2 nephews that also have it. My grandfather was blind. So I'm always doing stuff to try to raise awareness and money for it. So I hope you guys will check it out. Thank you very much. And now to what I talked with Eva about. She was really great. So fun to talk to her. We talked about theater. We talked about living in England, but she's from Iceland. So we talk about Iceland quite a lot because I'm kind of fascinated by a place like that I've never been to. And so different from how I was raised. We talk about modeling and acting, dating in Iceland. You know, there's a danger of dating in Iceland because it's so tiny and the population's not much, that there's a danger of dating somebody you're related to and not even knowing it. So we talk about stuff like that. She recently split from her husband. We talk about that, and she was very kind to be open about that. She won a green card lottery to come to the U.S. She's also a really talented illustrator. We talk about art. Talk about parents splitting up as a kid. We talk about her name. Her name is technically not Eva Solveig. She's switched around her name and has kind of tried to Americanize it a little bit. And so we talk about that stuff. So we talk about a lot more. And, of course, Jon Glaser and what he's like. And he's a good dude. He did my podcast a year or so ago. So I enjoyed talking to Eva, and I hope you will enjoy listening to it. And here she is, Eva Solveig. Hi, Eva.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Thanks for coming over.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me.
You took a chance on a guy on the internet. A stranger.
Well, thankfully you had a nice portfolio, so
Thank God.
Safe enough.
Thanks for vetting me. That's a good idea. How you been?
I've been good,
How you like this weather?
It is cold, and no wonder why I do that to myself, to choose a city like that to live in, but it's
cold.
It's fresh.
It's refreshing.
It is, yeah.
Like that?
And I just came back from Helsinki as well, and well, it was colder there, so this is good in comparison.
What did you do there?
I was teaching acting, actually. I have a physical theater company, and we were teaching physical theater in Helsinki.
What do you mean physical theater?
So it is in between being a dance and expressing yourself in a straight acting manner. So it is using your body as the main devising tool when it comes to creating characters and performances.
I see. It's almost almost like performance art. Does that sound
a little bit?
Close to that?
Yeah. A lot of performance art uses physical theater. Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, how'd you get wrapped up into that?
So the acting actually that I was taught in England, I studied at Rose River College, and the acting there was called European Theatre, the course that I took. And it focused more on, rather than starting out with text, it was starting out on the floor with your body and how you can start out from that. And it is a ridiculous name to give it, physical theater, because all theater is physical. You just put a body on stage. Right. It's the main thing. But it's more how to train your body to become more sensitive and a more malleable tool to use for whatever you want to create.
That's very interesting. Have you taken clowning?
Yes, we did some clowning. Yeah.
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 That's very physical too.
It's very
Miming,
physical.
that type of stuff.
Yeah, I love that, and I try to remind myself of that joy in clowning. Just make it fun, and that is helpful with anything in life.
Well, you were part of a very fun show called Jon Glaser Loves Gear.
Yes, it was incredibly fun.
I love Jon. He's so funny, and if you haven't seen the show, go watch it from True TV. I bought it on iTunes, and it's so funny. It's really original. It's really an original
Incredibly
show.
original. I think that is a good word for it. And a very niche type of humor as well and everything. Because moving here, it's been that whole American humor, which is quite different from European humor. And trying to get on like, okay, so is this a normal sense of humor or is this something very unique? And I think Jon definitely has a very incredibly distinct sense of humor, which I love. And it keeps surprising me as well.
Well, it's because there's a line of like, I'm going to be original, but I'm not going to be fun. But it's not going to be funny. Nobody's going to get it.
Yeah.
And it's just me. It's just I get it. I'm the only person that gets it. Luckily, Jon, though, everybody can kind of laugh at it, even though it's kind of silly.
Yeah, because it's surprising and it's fun and it's different. Yeah.
Did you have to audition?
Yeah, I had to audition. The casting breakdown was a Eastern European model. And I told them, I'm not Eastern European, I'm Icelandic, but I can pretend to be if you want me to. And then I came into the room, there were a couple of auditions, and in the second audition, Jon was there, and he improvised with you, and it was very nice, yeah.
What was that audition like, the improv part?
Oh, well, it was that audition scene, actually, from the episode, where she comes and she has to read that horrible thing about how Gear makes her wet and how he is so amazing and such a good father and how, horrible.
That's hilarious.
But it was really fun. And then it was just some improv. I can't even remember what we improvised in the second one, but we were just joking around and seeing if we could work together well. And
Well, and the show incorporates, it's like for those that haven't seen it, it's like a documentary. It's like half documentary, half not a documentary.
Yeah.
It's like he does love Gear. You're playing his pretend wife.
Yeah.
He already has another pretend wife on the show.
Oh, his real wife on the show, which isn't his real wife in real life, but
so
is meant to be.
There is some parts that he plays himself.
Yeah.
Because he does like have a real fascination with Gear, right?
Yeah, he does, and supposedly he's just making fun of that.
Yeah, and then he goes into like different stores and interacts with people that mostly, I'm assuming, think it's a documentary. Is that right?
No, this is the thing, and it's been incredibly funny checking out. Not that I'm like looking at all the comments and stuff, but of course you get curious and you check it out what people are saying about the show, and it's incredibly funny seeing people's reactions. The ones that think that this is real and think that he's really traumatizing his kids and his wife and
I
their
don't believe that part,
shopkeepers.
but the people in the stores and stuff. Right?
Yeah, I mean, the ones that I met did know that this was fake and did know that they could really definitely play on that too.
Because he seems like you were in the surf shop one.
Yes.
And it just looked like does the guy know what's going on? He does. It's a comedy show. He gets it.
He gets it, and he gets that Jon is meant to be ridiculous, so he's not. Yeah.
Well, they all do a very good job of
they do. That's the thing.
Looking confused and stuff like that. That's so funny. Is that in line with your sense of humor? That type of stuff? Yeah,
and definitely a freshly different one that I'm used to working with because I've been, like I said, in Europe and stuff. And the humor is quite different. But I remember watching Parks and Recreations and thinking that was absolutely hilarious, which was why I was very excited about the audition. And it is fun as well because sometimes I'm not sure how the jokes are gonna, because this was my first TV show and I wasn't sure how the jokes are gonna translate from paper onto film. And so it's been nice seeing the growth of that.
How much was improvised in the show, would you say?
Oh, gosh, quite a bit. But I mean, most of the jokes were on paper and then you can play around them, at least from the ones that I worked on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're born and raised Iceland?
Yeah, born and raised in Iceland.
I'm going to attempt it is called, don't tell me, Reykjavik.
Yeah, very close.
More or less?
Reykjavik.
Okay, well, I can't roll my R's. But, okay, so born and raised there?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was it like there?
Well,
Is it true? I hear Iceland is very green and Greenland is very icy.
yeah, it's Viking marketing. It's very mean. So yeah, the outlaws found Greenland and they wanted to get away to get their friends and family to come join them after they had been outlawed. So they named it Greenland to try to make it very,
Sound nice.
yeah, very mean.
That's so messed up.
I know.
That's so funny.
But Iceland, yeah, Iceland is never too cold and never too hot. It's like a very in between temperature all the time because of the Gulf Stream that blows the warmth to us. So it gets way colder in New York than it does in Iceland. But then
kidding.
Weather is very unpredictable, mainly because of the humidity that you guys have.
Right.
But Iceland is small. We're about 300,000 people, and we were only about 200 something when I was a kid. Growing up, I grew up in Mosfellsbær, which is an even smaller town than Reykjavik, but right next to it. And yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Well, it sounds like not a lot's going on there.
I mean, now it is vibrant with like the music industry and the arts,
Really?
very rich and thriving. And now, because suddenly people know we exist after that volcano blew, now the tourists are coming in, and now we're on all like TV shows and very trendy and interesting. So now Iceland is very hipster. I think Reykjavik is a bit more and more like Williamsburg in a way.
No kidding, that's interesting.
Yeah.
My cousin told me one time a couple of years ago, he's like, I'm going to Iceland, just out of nowhere. I'm like, oh, okay, what's going on there? He's like, I don't know, but the flights are super cheap.
Yeah, this is the thing. And now we actually have more tourists than the Icelandic population. And it's kind of scary because they all want to do the nature activities too.
Right.
And well, there's only that amount of space near the waterfalls. So what's going to happen when there's too many of them? And then like, yeah, concerns like that.
Yeah, I mean, because you gotta conserve that stuff, right? You gotta make sure everything stays preserved.
Yeah, we've been having trouble with people like picking the moss that takes like 100 years to grow just to stuff their tents and make them more comfy.
Oh,
Human
my God.
feces as well,
Oh.
which has been a massive problem. But it's also our fault not to give them, outdoor toilets to go in.
Oh,
But
yeah, that
some
helps.
surprising problems that we wouldn't have anticipated.
That's interesting. Did you see the movie, the Walter Mitty movie?
I know
The
I
Life of
haven't
Walter
seen
Mitty?
it
Some
yet.
of that takes
I've
place
seen
in Iceland,
clips.
right?
Yeah, I think that helped.
They filmed it in Iceland.
Yes, they did, and
did you-
Icelandic actors and such.
Yeah. Did you know any of those by any chance? There can't be a huge acting
No,
community.
the industry is tiny, and that's
Yeah.
the thing. That's why you kind of have to move abroad if you want to make it into a continuous living or attempt to.
Right.
Because the industry is tiny in Iceland. There's only like a couple of films a year, and there's 2 main theaters that have productions and 1 fringe theater, and that's it. So you know everybody, and everybody knows everybody, and everyone is aware of everybody, even acting students and stuff. So yeah, a lot of familiar faces in Walter Mitty.
Interesting. How often do you get back there?
A few times a year.
Really?
So I went back for Christmas now to meet my family, and we had a show in 2015, my theater company, in the Fringe Theater. We're hoping to come back next year. Actually, the application is due this weekend. And
I'm sure you'll get in.
I hope so. At least they're super nice and very friendly. Yeah, so I try to go like twice or thrice a year, and then I'm very lucky that my family is very good with coming and meeting me as well.
Oh yeah, they come out here to visit?
Yeah, my mom is just coming in a couple of weeks actually.
Do they like it?
To come here?
Yeah.
Yes, they do, and I've only been here a couple of years. So before they came to London all the time, which was way cheaper as well. But yeah, they do love visiting. They were actually talking about spending Christmas here now, and I was trying to tell them I don't think the city is thriving around Christmas time. At least I've been told it goes kind of dead.
Here?
Yeah?
Oh, who told you that? I would say the opposite.
Oh, all right.
Because it's very touristy.
Okay, so we might do that then.
I mean, yeah, especially if you go to Times Square or something, Rockefeller Center
Yeah?
and stuff like that. It's crazy.
All right, we'll do that.
I would do the opposite. I would leave here because it's too crowded. Okay, so your parents are still together.
No, that's my mom and my stepdad.
Oh, your stepdad, okay.
And they're actually getting married, so she's going to buy a wedding dress now that she comes.
So your stepdad, so you call him stepdad, even though your parents, they're not married.
No.
Is that right?
No, he's just been a part of my life for long enough.
Really?
Yeah.
Why they wait so long to get married?
I think I don't know.
You should
It's a
ask her.
difficult question
Ask
to
her in
ask
2 weeks.
people.
Tell her to do my podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So do you have siblings?
Yes, I do. I have one brother in Iceland.
He's still there. What's he doing there?
He is a year older than me, and he's still deciding what to do in life. He's incredibly good with computers. I think he's going to become some sort of an IT genius.
Okay.
But at the moment, he's just enjoying life.
Does he like Iceland?
He
Likes it there?
does, yeah. And I think that he would like to do short courses abroad or like experience living abroad for a while. But I don't think that he's ever going to move away permanently.
Okay. What? And then you moved to London. When did that happen?
That happened when I was 18, and I went to study at Rose River College, acting. And then I lived in Estonia for 3 months, which was very cold because it was the worst months out of the year as well.
Oh, really?
And then I came here once I had graduated.
Which was how long ago?
So I graduated in 2013, and then I was half a year in Iceland
Okay.
with the family, and then I moved here, and then I moved back a year to London and worked professionally for a year,
Okay.
and then I moved here.
So a little back and forth action.
A bit back and
a
forth,
little bit.
yeah.
And then the big move to the States, that's a big step, right?
It is, yeah. I won in the green card lottery and thought, why not? So that's why I came
Green
here.
card lottery. How does that work?
It's called diversity visa, and it's kind of this interesting system where they're trying to get a diverse group of people into the country. So a lot of countries can participate in this lottery where you are randomly selected. It's not very random because after you are selected, you need to kind of state all your education.
Sure, they
and
gotta scope you out.
yes, and you have to have this whole test done where you prove that you're not going to bring any STDs or viruses into the country.
Thank you for not bringing any STDs
Yeah, I do my best.
into the country. Appreciate that. We have enough here.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
why. Were you excited to win the lottery? I mean, you won the
Yeah.
lottery, right?
Yeah, it was very, because I hadn't anticipated. It was on first try as well. And yeah, I thought I was just going to stay in London and see what happened there. But the industry here is also way more open and works very differently from London. And it was fun to see the comparison between the two. Americans are very, yeah, I'll try that. Like anything goes, very different stuff.
Right.
Well, I felt in London you had to be yay high, look like this, talk like this, from this background, which was a very different experience.
Okay, so they're a little more choosy over there.
In my experience.
More or less.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
interesting.
old school.
Old school. So your parents grew up. When did your parents get divorced? Your first.
I was 9 years old, and my dad now has a farm.
He does
He's
now?
very much that Icelandic farmer with his woolen jumper and gray beard. These days, it didn't not when we lived together, but my mom, she is a graphic designer, and yeah.
Yeah, and so 9 years old they split up. Do you know why they split up?
I guess it's just the reason why anyone splits up or gets married. I think there's probably 1,000 factors. There was nothing
Yeah.
traumatizing or bad. It became that thing of like, what? We get 2 vacations a year now?
Did they get married too young or something like that? Because
No, I think people just grow apart a lot of the time, don't they?
yeah,
Yeah.
were they born and raised on Iceland as well?
Yes, I am completely 100% Icelandic, which I used to think was a very boring thing because you'd have friends that were like part Filipino and friends that had all these cultures to claim, which Americans do. But no, I'm just fishing village Icelander.
Fishing village. Wow.
Yeah.
So what does your dad have on his farm?
Some sheep and a dog. And that's about it, I think.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And then your mom met her new guy.
Yeah.
How long ago did they get together?
So my mom was in the finance, what do you say, finance industry.
Okay, finance.
And
yeah.
he is a mathematician. And what do you say, the guys that know all the statistics about the market.
Okay, I don't even know. the name.
Economists.
Okay, economist. Okay.
Yeah, and so they met when they were both in that industry and were best friends for a while. And then they started dating. And she decided that she didn't want to be a member of that industry anymore, that she wanted to become an artist. And yeah, now they live together in Reykjavik, right below our famous church. And he still teaches maths and economy, and she is a graphic designer.
That's great.
Yeah.
So they've been together for how long now, you think?
Gosh, since I was 13, I think.
13.
Yeah.
So when your parents split up, was that really hard for you? Did you know what was going on?
When I was 9, yeah. So it is that trauma of like,
Yeah.
holy shit, like your whole life changes. But yeah, no, I wouldn't want my parents to be together unless it made them very happy.
Sure.
I think
But when you're a kid, you don't know that,
No,
right? When
you
you're a kid, you're like,
don't.
no, you guys gotta stay together. What's
yeah,
happening?
but they were very good with adjusting us to it because my dad got an apartment like on the same street as my mom, which they thought was fantastic because we could just run in between. And then we had like a little summer house that my dad would take us to every other weekend. And yeah, it started out really well. They were so helpful
That's good.
with everything. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went. Okay, so your stepfather. Now, when your
Yes.
mom starts dating,
Yeah.
is that weird?
I thought it was more weird because he is a funny guy. He makes a lot of jokes.
Oh, that's good.
And me, as a teenager at that point, didn't find it that funny because he would joke around so much and I didn't have the energy to keep up with him. And he would give me a nickname because my name is Solveig Eva and I invert it out here. So I'm Eva Solveig to make it easier for people.
Oh, that's interesting. So your last name is Eva.
My last name is Magnusdóttir because in Iceland you get the
Oh.
father's name and you put daughter or son behind. So you're just like Magnus's daughter.
So what's your full name?
Solveig Eva Magnusdóttir.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I try to make it easier by doing
That's
Eva
probably
Solveig.
smart to switch the Eva and make it a first name. That's more,
Yeah,
we'll
at least I
understand
thought
more.
that would make it super easy, but now everyone asks me Eva or Eva, and it doesn't matter to me because I'm Solveig or Sola, so it's made it a bit complicated.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask you if it was Eva or Eva.
Yeah.
You introduced yourself as Eva.
Play around with it.
You want me to play
surprise
now?
me. Yeah.
Okay, all right, I'll mix it up. That's cool. So when your mom starts seeing other guys. I guess you spent
Oh,
most
yeah.
of the time with your mom, I assume.
Yeah, we lived with my mom,
Yeah.
and she was a kick-ass single mom.
Yeah. Was she like dating around, or she just met this one guy?
No,
and was
no.
like-
She only introduced us to him once it had gotten like really
Serious,
serious. Yeah, because they would live separately as well until we had moved out. Yeah.
I see. Oh, I see. Okay. So
Yeah.
once you turned 18 and went to London, then
Yeah.
they got together, I guess.
Yeah, a couple of years later, she sold the house and started living together with him.
Wow. So that's a long time that they've been together.
Yeah.
And like kind of courting each other and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you call him
commitment.
stepdad.
No, I call him just his name, Jon Snorri.
Well, you refer to him as a stepdad.
Yeah, he definitely is. And he is like, yeah, he had the speech at my wedding and everything. Like, he is a total daddy dad type of person to me. Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Are they excited about you and acting and stuff?
They are
About that?
so supportive, like incredibly supportive. Because I remember being 17 and auditioning for drama schools, and some of my family members being like, "Are you crazy? She can't go and live abroad on her own when she hasn't even turned 18." But she was so supportive, like she wouldn't let me hear any of it, and just yeah, totally helped me.
Were they like, yeah, get out of this town because it's a small town, it's very limited.
Yeah, I mean, she just knew that I always wanted to do it, so it was like, yeah, I'm not gonna be the person that stops her from it, and yeah.
Because you have 300,000 people in Iceland. You have probably 300,000 people in whatever area that you're staying in New York, right?
Yeah,
At
it's
least.
insane. I mean,
least
you get sports stadiums that fit that amount of people. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. That's so
Yeah.
tiny.
Tiny.
I can't even grasp that living in such a small place. I'm from Long Island, which is New York, and
Yeah.
so I'm born and raised there, but always close to the city.
Yeah.
I lived in Chicago and Los Angeles, Florida. You know,
Maybe when I give it a go and just see what it feels like.
I like small towns. When I go
Yeah.
around and visit small
Yeah.
towns, I'm like, oh, this is relaxing.
For a little while, but it does choke me a little bit if it's been 3 months and then it feels very much same.
Yeah.
Still. Yeah.
You can feel trapped, right?
A little bit.
A little bit. That's scary. Especially for creative people like yourself. You're like, I gotta fly. I'm a bird.
At least when
Right?
you're young and stupid and that it's a good time to do it, I think.
So how was London? Did you like London? I've been there a couple times.
Yeah, the thing is, London, I enjoyed the experience of living there. I think they had fantastic theatre, fantastic arts, and a lot of fun stuff. But it never felt like the right fit for me. I had to kind of force myself to like it. And I do very much like and respect London, but I'm very happy to be here now.
Yeah.
I think it's a better fit for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that, do you think?
I just feel like things are more accessible. I feel like it's a quicker pace. Also, I'm vegan, and that was very hard in London.
Sure.
It's very easy in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vegan. What made you be vegan? You got a dad that has sheep on his farms and
That's
stuff?
the thing. Kills his own dinner and that sort of stuff. And goes hunting and everything.
Yeah. I imagine Iceland's like that, right? Meat eating.
Very much, yeah. Fishing. Yeah, I mean, we didn't have... I mean, my grandmother would maybe get apples twice a year. Like, we didn't have fruits and vegetables pretty
Twice
much.
a year you had an apple.
I mean, yeah, we're living on a clump of lava, so there's not
Oh,
much to
God.
grow there. You just have to fish.
Funny.
But no, it's just something in me that I was never a big meat eater anyway. And then if somebody tells you what a hamburger is and you're traumatized, and start making your own choices.
Is that weird going back to Iceland and going for the holidays and you're like, hey guys, I'm vegan.
No, because now it's so trendy to be
is it
like
really?
health conscious as well. And all our fast food restaurants now, the biggest ones are all like health food chains.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I mean, because New York, as much as you can find good vegan options, there's 1,000 times more unhealthy options here.
Yes,
too, right?
yeah. We don't have McDonald's anymore after the bank crisis, but we did just get a Dunkin' Donuts.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
You shouldn't let Dunkin' Donuts be there. You guys should pick it.
Funny, like they're ambitious about it. I mean, it's not like pink and yellow chainy. There's like a proper cafe. They're like
really?
making it super nice.
Yeah,
Welcoming.
they have to. I feel like, because where was I? I was somewhere this past year. I don't remember, but they were doing like McDonald's cafes.
Yes, that's what I've heard. Like in Australia and stuff, like they really go
Australia,
for
maybe
it.
that's where it was.
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't just because you serve muffins, you're still a shitty restaurant. You know what I mean? You're still like serving bad burgers and stuff.
It's
right?
proper ambitious. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Trying to fool you.
So you mentioned a wedding. Mm-hmm. Are you? How's that?
Yeah, they're getting married in June, my mom and my stepdad, so I get to go in June for the wedding.
In Iceland. Is there a bridal party or anything like that? Is there like a...
The thing is, what they were gonna do, which is maybe why I shouldn't be telling this in a podcast and everything. I think everybody knows by now, but it was meant to be a secret. It's on my mom's birthday, and they were just gonna do that whole thing of like, oh, a priest, what's gonna happen now? And then suddenly there's a wedding party.
Why the surprise?
I think it was just a quirky idea. I think it's the whole thing of getting married for the second time. So how do you go about it, making it special?
That's funny.
But then they figure like most of his best friends live abroad and all of her siblings live abroad, or pretty much all of them. So they weren't going to come home just for a birthday party. So of course they had to admit, okay, it's actually a wedding.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
So get your tickets.
Get your tickets.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, I'm very happy for them.
What about your brother? He married or anything?
No, but I know that he's dating someone, so I'm excited to see how that will turn out.
Okay. What's dating like on Iceland? Is it like, are there apps? Are there dating apps
Yeah,
now?
well, we have a very special app. Because we are a small nation, we actually have an app where you check if you're related.
Oh, God.
Because there's such few of us. So we have this thing called Iceland's Book, and they have a record of every family relation. So if you start dating someone, I mean, you used to just go to grandma and tell her, and they would say, and whose people is she from? Or I don't know how you would phrase that in a straight translation. And your grandma would know if you're related or not. But now we have that more sophisticated app thing.
Oh, well, the app is just Ask Grandma. It should be called Ask Grandma.
Oh, it should be. That is way more, yeah.
Oh, my God. I guess that's dangerous. So when you were growing up, did you date a lot growing up?
Yeah, I mean, you dated, different people. And yeah, your grandma would ask, and who's
Was there ever a time you were like, we can't date, we're related? Did
I mean,
ever
you hear those stories. I definitely have some friends who have had instances where they've been like, oh, shit. Or, you meet each other at a family reunion and you're like, fuck, But
so
no, not me personally, thankfully.
That's very funny.
Yeah.
Well, your English is very good.
Thank you.
Did you learn that in Iceland?
Yeah, I mean, we're very... Because your army came over during the Second World War, and the British Army before that. But when the Americans came, it was the coolest cool thing ever. I mean, my grandma has stories where she would draw on stockings on her legs to pretend that she had gotten stockings from the soldiers, because they would bring the nylon stockings and they would bring Coca-Cola and like all these nice things that we hadn't really seen before. So suddenly everybody wanted to go to America and like be a part of that whole culture. And so we grew up with the American films and American music, and so we have that influence all the time.
So does everybody there speak English?
Yeah, we all speak and understand. I have a few friends that are slower, and then that's the whole thing. When you speak another language, maybe your personality doesn't come across. Maybe you can't tell jokes in another language. And so, but then I moved to London to study acting, and then you had to. And you had to do the whole thing as well, where you study received pronunciation so that you can fit into the industry there.
The standard accent and stuff like that, right?
And then you finally get that, and then you move to America. I was like, oh shit.
Are you consciously trying to do or trying to lose an accent or anything?
I had to, because when I came over here, I had the British accent, and then people would tell me jokes about Northerners in England and stuff, and it was such a weird thing for my national identity to suddenly be treated as a British person and being told British jokes as if it was a thing on me. So no, I became very conscious of putting that accent to the side, and so I started watching some TV programs and doing the annoying thing where you say every sentence after the character.
Well, that's good that you were like, oh, well, I should probably practice this and work on it. I think it'll probably just help you.
I think it is, yeah. I think you definitely have to as an actor.
Yeah, and have all those tools and accents and...
Yeah, play around with it. I can't do anything other than receive pronunciation and then minimizing my own Scandinavian and American. But I wish I was one of those people that did Scottish and Irish and just jumped between them like it's nothing.
That'd be cool.
That'd be very cool.
Where you don't have to be specific, but whereabouts do you live in New York?
I live in Astoria.
Okay.
And I like it. I feel like it's a cheaper, trendy place than Brooklyn or Williamsburg, or those cool places, East Village, where I wish I could live. But Astoria is very good for the commute, I think. They have the nice restaurants and the a little bit cheaper thing.
Queens. Because you're a little further out.
But the NW train is easy,
W train.
Because it's right there.
Cool. And you moved here after London.
Mm-hmm.
Did you move by yourself? Did you come here by yourself?
No, the thing is, I was married when I came here, and we are actually just recently separated. It was that whole thing of go big or go home thing, or it's like, are you going to move to America? Well, shit, we're going to have to go all in. And that's why I spent that 1 year in England, because we were waiting for the green card thing, and I couldn't start working, but he was here studying acting. And now he lives in LA. His name is Carl Milberg. He is my best friend still.
Good.
And I'm very excited to see what happens in LA. There's like a whole Icelandic actor bubble there that I had no idea existed.
I'm unaware of it.
Nope. Yeah, that's the
Maybe
thing.
There's an app for it.
Maybe there should be.
Your relative. Well, I'm sorry to hear the separation. Is he American?
No, he is Icelandic as well. We won the green card together.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So you guys met in Iceland?
Yes, we met and we did a short film together, which didn't turn out great, but that's just some of the things we participated in. It was such a fun crew, though, to work with. I don't think it ever got fully made either. I think it was more of an experiment and just us making jokes.
Okay.
And I thought he was funny and charming and very attractive. And then
all good things.
All good things.
It's not related to you. Check
No,
with the app.
right.
That's
check,
fine.
Check. And then I was still studying in England. And we liked each other much enough that after dating in the summer, he moved to me in England and he did his auditions for drama schools there. And then he got into a school in America and we applied for the lottery just to see if it would happen. And it did, and everything clicked. So we just thought, let's get married and just have fun with it.
So you got married 2 years ago then?
No, 3.5.
3.5 years ago.
Yes.
3.5. I mean, can I say your age? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
You're 25.
I'm 25.
So you were like 21 then. When you got married.
Crazy young, but
that's pretty young.
It was really fun.
And then you guys were together for how long before you got married?
A year and a half.
Year and a half. So you're like maybe 19 when you meet? 19,
yes,
20?
we were. Yeah, 19.
Oh, wow, that's young.
Yeah, crazy young. Yeah.
Eva Solveig. It's so young.
It's very young.
What do you prefer hearing? Do you want to hear Solveig? I mean, are you used to
Close
that?
friends call me Sola.
Sola.
Yeah.
Oh, Sola. That's pretty. Well, I'm sorry that didn't work. That did not work out. So he lives in L.A. now.
Yes, but no regrets. I think it was a marriage that made us both closer to being the people that we wanted to be, and we're still best friends, and we left on good terms.
That's
It's
nice.
that thing of where you grow in separate ways, and I think we always knew that was a possibility. Although it was tragic and very difficult to come to terms with. But I think it's gonna just start new adventures in different ways.
New adventures. That's nice. It's you have a very positive outlook on it.
Oh yeah, well I'm
very nice.
through the worst of the grieving period as well,
Yeah.
which is why I'm sounding a bit healthier about it.
Was it a mutual thing or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mostly. Mutual.
Mostly, yeah.
Well, now you're single.
Yeah.
You ready to date?
Nah, I think it's all very fresh.
There's a lot of apps. There's lots of apps here.
apps.
There's lots of apps.
Yeah, and gosh, people tell me traumatizing things about being single in New York. So I think I'm just happy to take my time.
Take your time, and maybe don't go to strangers' apartments that you've never met before. Just make this the last time you do that.
I'll be careful. I'll be very
Be
careful.
very careful. My friend, I met my girlfriend online.
Oh yeah, you did?
Yeah, before the app stuff.
So wait, how then?
On the computer.
Match.com or something.
Match.com, exactly.
I see.
On the computer. And it was before smartphones and stuff. So, but now my friends that are single,
Yeah.
they tell me all about these Tinder apps and
Yeah.
Bumble or something and OkCupid and all this.
It sounds
tons of-
terrifying. I've
terrifying.
never signed up for one of those, and I hope I won't, because it's terrifying. But then again, you
That's-
found your girl.
That's how you date though
in
these
one of
days.
those. Gosh.
I mean, you
technology.
probably tell me this. Do you get hit on a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah. So so I guess you could kind of choose who you want, whoever's hitting on you. You could kind of go, all right, or no, and you do
Yeah.
that. But I
But it
don't
is
know.
fun to go home and creep up on people on your little apps too.
You could do that.
Yeah.
And there is an app that I heard of that only women can ask out the guys.
Whoa.
So
Wow.
you get the power.
Oh my.
That's right.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But the boys like that.
I would take it. I was on Match.com for a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I always had to write to the girls, and it was
Yeah.
a lot of work.
Yeah.
And it would have been nice to have once in a while somebody
yeah.
write to me and say, hey,
Yeah.
you're interesting.
Girls, step up.
Step up,
It's
girls.
2017. Come on.
Yeah.
And how
well,
long
feminism.
have you been Yeah.
Right?
And how long have you been together now?
9 years.
Wow. So it does work.
It worked for us.
Oh gosh, getting married or anything for you guys?
We'll see.
You'll see.
We'll see.
Take your time with it.
Take
Don't
your
just
time.
go
I'm like your
for
mom.
it.
I'm like your mom. I'm just gonna take my time.
Yeah. Healthy.
Yeah, but we're doing good. She's working. She's an actress.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. And we're kind of bi-coastal.
Oh, I see. That's the dream.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But we live in Los Angeles.
Nice.
We have a house, and we come to New York when she's working.
And the dog joins you too?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
He comes with us. He's passed out. He's exhausted. Do you have a dog right now?
No, but I have one as a kid when I was growing up.
You were saying just like my dog.
Yeah, just like your dog, the pink nose and everything. Labrador, yellow. And
They're the best. They're the best.
they are fantastic. I don't know if I would commit to a dog. I'm having trouble with plants as it is. So I don't know what my future holds. But
Okay.
yeah,
Plants are tough.
plants are tough.
Get a cactus.
I did, and I killed it.
How did you do that?
I don't know. But I am trying again.
Welcome to America. Our cactuses die, or cacti. What are your interests besides acting?
Well, I'm an illustrator as well.
That's right. I saw that on your
Yeah.
Facebook. I went to art school for a couple years.
Oh, you did? Do you still draw?
I haven't in a long time. I kind
Yeah.
of switched focus.
It's hard to keep up. I feel like I'm spending too much time on it, and I should be spending more time practicing acting when I spend time on drawing. And then I get guilty about not spending time practicing drawing, and then somebody hires you, and it's like, oh, I feel like I'm cheating them.
The
a bit.
nice thing about drawing, though, you could kind of do it anywhere. If you're on the
Yeah.
set or something, you could do it. I mean, I don't know what exactly you draw or anything, but
Yeah. So I like making complicated drawings that take a while, but that maybe happens once every year that I give myself the time to do that. Then I will get assignments like there's this biotech laboratory in Iceland that I've done sometimes some jobs for, and they will ask for like, oh, this is how you cut a fish, or these are the different types of meats. And then I will illustrate that sort of stuff. So I do assignments like that too.
Do you tell them you're a vegan and you can't do those assignments?
I just take the money and shut up and enjoy the time drawing for a couple of weeks.
How'd you learn to draw?
Well, my grandfather is an artist in Iceland, or was an artist, and it was funny growing up, and I enjoyed drawing, and every art teacher I had studied with my grandfather. His name is Gylfi Gíslason, and he was a pop artist, very political. So, but I thought when I won the green card, I thought, shit, they better not find out that my grandfather was a raging communist. That was going to impact some of the... that was at the peak as well of Snowden and Assange, and I was sure that the government was spying on my every move.
Oh my
but
God.
no.
Did you really think that?
I thought that because everyone was scared. They're like, careful what you write on Facebook now. They're going to become an American citizen, maybe.
It's it can be a paranoid time.
It
right now,
is,
right?
yeah.
If you let it.
But then I suppose that's the way it is everywhere these days. But no, I thought that was very interesting. My grandfather made some very interesting political pictures that I thought were beautiful, and some comics as well. And what I really liked is that he illustrated a lot of our sagas and our folk stories. And I love doing that as well. So it's nice to feel that connection.
Will he draw Donald Trump, maybe?
Yeah, well,
he's still alive?
No, he
Oh,
passed away a few years back.
Boy, he would lose his mind if he knew about the Trump stuff.
Oh gosh,
probably,
he definitely
right?
would, yeah. But he would have something to draw.
You could do it for him.
I can, maybe.
In his name.
If I ever want to draw Mr. Trump.
Have you, when Trump got elected, did you get nervous?
I cried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all
It
cried.
was depressing.
I think we all cried. Did you think, well, I'm going back to Iceland?
Oh, but that's the
like
thing. It's the thing of like, if things aren't going your way, you can't just give up. You have to just like make the positive impact. And that's been the really beautiful thing. Like the whole donations to charities and the amazing marches and the way that people are stepping up and speaking up has been so positive to see in all this dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you go to the marches? Any of the marches?
No, I was in Helsinki.
Oh.
I just returned. The day I returned was the Women's March.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Helsinki. Well, that's so cool. You get to go all over the place. Do you like traveling?
I do. I love traveling. And the theater company has been such a fantastic way to do that. Also because it removes you from this typecasting bubble. And you go into this very fringy, very wanky art scene, and you do very wanky things for a week or two, and then you get to return. And it's very therapeutic and fantastic in so many ways.
Do you think Jon Glaser's show will get a second season?
I hope so. I really
funny.
hope so. Yeah. I mean, they're filming Neon Joe now.
Yeah.
So he's doing really well.
I love Jon.
I know.
so funny.
And the nicest person after watching Parks and Recreation is I thought, oh my gosh, what is this guy going to be like? Because he always acts jackasses. But then he's just the nicest person you'll ever meet.
He's a super nice guy.
Yeah.
He was here. He did my podcast a year ago, and he was talking about his daughter.
Yeah.
And he got emotional talking about his daughter. That's so
know.
sweet.
I know.
His adopted daughter.
Yeah. And they came on set a couple of times. And
Did
gosh, yeah, beautiful.
I was thinking, I wondered if he had cast his kids as the kids on the show. Probably not. Were they used at all on the show?
No. They did not act
just
themselves. Yeah. Must be fun to have actors acting you and another set of actors acting the actors acting you. Must be
Very
fun
like
experience.
Inception. Like,
Very,
you know,
yeah.
dream within a dream.
Confusing.
Very layered. What stuff do you have coming up? You filming stuff now?
Well, I'm doing my first voiceover project tomorrow.
That's cool.
And then we are working on a production with my theater company, which is a whole 2-year research and interviews and massive process. And we have no idea what's going to if it's going to become anything that we can actually stage.
Okay.
I hope it will be. It's this whole big research into men and masculinity, and us as women being an all-female theater company being very curious about what is the male experience. And then it's that whole thing of like, well, this is going to be wanky as shit, and how on earth can we stage this, and are we the ones that are allowed to stage this, and what can be the gateway? But it's mainly just been interviews with all these different people and getting really intimate, very interesting stories from them that we want to make into a verbatim production. And the stuff that we've found so far and just the trust that people have been showing us has been so interesting, and experiences that I had no idea about. So I hope that we can make something nice with it and not let all those interviewees down. But yeah.
Wow, that sounds very involved.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting, definitely. At least, yeah.
Oh, no, go ahead. At
It
least
gives you an excuse when you meet an interesting person to say, hey, you want to sit down and can I ask you anything for 60 minutes? I suppose that's your job as well. Yeah.
That's why I don't have to stage it, though.
know.
I don't have to stage anything.
No.
Wow, that's really interesting. So how many people are in your company?
So there's 4 of us. There's a Finnish girl called Anna. There's another Icelandic girl called Bertis Julia, called Julia. She does the same thing as me.
Okay.
And then we have a Norwegian girl, Henry. And then we have with us now a French 3D artist who's working on this production with us called Louis. And we have an amazing scenic designer called Hatle, who's from Iceland as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you know all these people? From London?
No, Iceland is very small. The industry is very small. And the girls, we studied together in London. And then Anna met this 3D artist on her travels. And they are actually engaged. And he is very talented. So good. Bring in the good people. Yeah, it's been a series of random connections.
What would you like to do with your career? Like, what's your... Because you did modeling stuff, right?
Yeah, I did that. And I thought I was retired when I went into drama school, especially because all the teachers scare you with, you can't be... you can't do modeling as well as acting. You're just going to be too presentational and that sort of stuff. But then you graduate thinking that you've closed that door completely and all the auditions you're sent to are so typecast.
Right.
So then, of course, you kind of have to reopen that thing if you want to make a living.
Right.
But that's the thing. Like, I'm so torn between experimental theater, where I feel like I really get a chance to grow and try something very different, and then doing straight acting, and I love film acting and I love TV acting, where you get to tone everything down and be so much more intimate and closer to you as well, because you're typecast so much of the time that you get to play with aspects of yourself and make fun of aspects of yourself. So I'm torn in those two extreme directions, I suppose.
Would you like to do theater in New York? You're in New York.
I would love to. I just joined Equity actually this month. Yeah.
Congratulations.
So I'm just doing theater auditions properly for the first time.
Ooh. So what kind of agent do you have? Do you have one agent that covers all the bases?
No, I just have one agent that is, I think he spreads across TV, theater, and film.
Okay.
Although he's not too keen on theater just because it doesn't pay very well. Yeah, so for your agent.
Takes up a lot of time.
A lot of time.
And it doesn't pay anything.
Commitment, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you have to figure out how to pay rent.
Yes, but it is fun.
But it is fun.
Although it is crazy underpaid. Some of the jobs you kind of just, how would you be able to do the quality that you want to do with that amount of money? When you
probably can't.
No,
you probably can't.
That's the thing. And then experimental theater and French theater and off Broadway gets a bad name because they just don't have the funding to give themselves the time that they need, which is such a shame.
Ugh. What a pain.
I know.
It's so hard.
I know.
It's so hard out here, Eva.
I know.
It's so hard.
I know.
What are we going to do?
Well, you can be creative and do your own stuff like you are.
I guess you could do that.
Yes.
Podcast. I can do it whatever I want as long as people show up, which you did. Thank you.
Yes. You're welcome.
You were on time. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of? So are you going to start dating? You think you're going to take some time off? What kind of guys do you like?
What kind of guys do I like?
Yeah. Maybe somebody listening right now.
Oh my. Well, if they make me laugh, that is the biggest thing.
Okay.
If you play all the time, like
Play.
when people pick up in your little games and then play with you, that is very important.
Like bits. Right.
Yeah, or like if I don't know, throw a fork across the room, he will find it funny and do it. I don't know, like those small things that you do.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's the main important.
Is that how you
thing.
eat? You go to a restaurant and I'm throwing a fork.
Just to see what happens.
The waiters don't think it's funny. They don't like that.
No, they
thing at
don't.
all.
But you tip in America, so maybe it's okay.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, and be a kind person. Don't be a douche.
Don't be a douche. That's
thing.
good.
Yeah.
If you start a profile, right, don't be a douche.
Don't be a douche and make me laugh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty good. And
Good.
be attractive, right? Your last guy was attractive, you said.
Yeah, but then I've dated all sorts of guys. I'm not going to say that any of them was unattractive, but I think that is not the most important thing.
Right. It must be a hard dating. I didn't date at all in high school.
No.
At all. Not at all.
Whoa.
So it must have been, and I'm on Long Island. There's
Yeah.
lots of girls I had crushes on, but it must have been so weird to date in high school in Iceland. I just feel like it's so small.
Yeah, it is tiny. But then I suppose if you're in a high school anywhere anyway, you do feel like you're a part of this tiny little bubble.
Yeah.
And there's only that many people that you can choose. I don't think I dated anyone in my high school or in my college ever. It was always people on the outside or recent
really?
graduates or like somebody who was out of that bubble now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you date older?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly. It surprised me that my husband was my age. Yeah, but I think that's very common with girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My girlfriend, she's a lot younger.
Oh, yeah, you see.
She's a bit younger than me, about 9 years.
Yeah.
And we met when she was 22, almost 23.
Wow, yeah.
And then, but she jokes like, I couldn't date a 22-year-old. You know, like 22-year-olds are stupid. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
men.
the thing.
22-year-old men are stupid. I'm like, yeah, they pretty much are. Even when I was 32, I was like, I'm still pretty stupid, but not as stupid as I was at 22.
Yeah, and then you always look back and cringe anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's scary stuff.
It
Do you
is.
want to be a mom someday?
Oh, yeah, someday. It's that whole thing of like, oh, I can't imagine having the time or like, where would you want to live? Like, I think it is, I think I would want my kids to have a little bit of my national identity. I'm beginning to understand more. I'm like, I need my kids to know what snow is, or like, yeah. So I would have to be at some point where I'm willing to spend a couple of years in Iceland at least.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Whether I'd come back or what.
Wow. So you would have a kid and then go to Iceland for a couple of years.
Just so that they could be around their grandparents and stuff as well. I think
Right.
that's very common that you want them to understand what it's like to. I don't know. I think you get a little bit precious about my experiences and wanting your kid to have those experiences too.
Yeah.
And then your kid can have amazing experiences wherever you live, and he can introduce you to the local culture in a different way than you ever had a chance to too. It would be very funny to be an immigrant parent and have the kid go, "Oh, Mom, that's not how you do it here." Yeah.
Wow. Hey, is it cheap in Iceland?
No, it's very expensive.
Is it really?
But then New York is expensive and London is expensive. I don't think I've ever given myself an easy time.
That's interesting. So it's expensive, but there's like, did it grow more expensive because of the tourism?
No,
Or has
it
it always
was
been expensive?
very expensive. Well, the Nordic countries are quite expensive. And then the economic crisis, and we kind of went under before you guys did. And we just remained expensive. Yeah.
We're
Just
expensive. Let's
happened
stick
to
with
be.
it. Okay, wow. I gotta get there. I want to go.
Yeah, you definitely should. Let me know if you do.
Where
Hook
should
you
I?
up.
Will you hook me up? Maybe I could stay with your parents or something.
Maybe you can, yeah. They do house swapping.
Shave some sheep.
Yeah. Make a sweater.
What's Lambda?
Lambda, that's the London Academy of Music and Drama.
Dramatic arts.
I
probably, right?
yeah, I may have said it wrong. Maybe it's a dramatic and musical academy. I don't know.
That sounds okay. Either one.
Yeah.
Either one.
It's
I
one
think.
of those big acting schools, and Rose Bruford was the first one that I auditioned for, and the first one that I got into. But I had also been keen on Lambda, and so I wanted to at least do a course there, even though I chose to go to Rose Bruford. And so that was my first acting school experience, was doing a physical theater summer course at Lambda, where we did some clowning, some bouffon, some silly stuff, which was very good to get you sort of out of your shell before you started your acting training properly.
Good.
Yeah,
That sounds fun.
it was very fun.
Would you want your kid to be an actor or whatever they want?
Oh yeah, I'd be happy for them to be an actor or a businessman, whatever they want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the creative side. I would want my kid to do something creative.
Something creative. Yeah, I'm going to force my kid to study an instrument. I kind of wish that people had done that to me. I think it was,
You learn an
she's
instrument?
drawing. That's
Yeah.
enough.
That's pretty good though.
It is pretty good.
Is it your Facebook or your not Instagram, but Twitter, where there's a drawing? Is that your drawing?
Yeah, that's my drawing. That was for a
very
film
good.
that my friend was making. And
really
she asked
good.
me to do a poster. Thank
Have you ever thought of like drawing kids' books or something? Like it's very.
I would love to. And that's the thing. I keep thinking that's what I'm going to do when I'm old and retire from acting and I'm fed up with the industry. Then I'll have this whole other career to fall back on.
Good.
Maybe, yeah.
Good. You're very good.
Thank
Do you like the painting too?
Yeah, but the thing is, because I've been pretty broke, an acting student living abroad, away from family, I bought this pen, this Wacom pen it's called, and you have just like this little pad and an electronic pen. And then you can download brushes, so it looks like you're painting, but you're actually cheating. You're actually just doing it all on your computer. So that's the way that I've been painting for the past few years. I would love to get my hands on some proper materials and do it in hand as well. It's just a little bit more expensive, so this has been an easy, portable solution.
So you're doing digital.
Yeah, mainly these days.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get why it's I get it's faster and it's cheaper. I get all that. It's a
Yeah.
little. I mean, I don't like feeling like an old man, but sometimes I go, oh, but in
Your
hand,
hands is so
how can you hang it up? You can't hang it up.
And your hands get dirty as well, and it's such a nice smell, and all the materials. Yeah, I need to go to an art supply store now and get some. But
I know. I went to art school. I wanted to be an illustrator.
Yeah.
So I went to art school in Florida for a couple of years.
Yeah. Did you finish?
No. I decided to be an actor.
Oh, I see. Of course.
I moved back to New York. And I commuted from Long Island to the city to classes for 4 years and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Performed, improv, and whatever.
Yes, this is a good place for improv.
Yeah, and this is, and Chicago is as well. LA is now too. LA is now.
Oh,
as well.
Great! Yeah.
Jon Glaser and I have a lot of mutual friends. That's why.
Oh,
that's
I
how
see.
we met.
In
met.
Chicago, then no.
Chicago.
Yeah.
But we met out here. I think we met out here. And then I was like, hey, you want to do my podcast? You did, sure. So it was very nice. But, well, hey, thank you so much for talking with me. I hope you had a good time on your first podcast. I'm sure it won't be your last.
Oh, thank you very much. I had a good time.
Good. And would you like to plug anything? I saw you have a website.
Yeah, well, I have a webpage. So if anyone wants to see what I'm doing, it's Solveig Eva. That's SOLVEIG. EVA.com, but that's about it. It's just my portfolios.
Okay, and you're on the Twitter?
I'm on the Twitter, and I'm on Instagram. My theater company is Spindrift Theater.
Spindrift Theater, okay. Go check that out.
Yeah.
And, well, thanks so much. Go watch Jon Glaser Loves Gear. It's hilarious, and you're great on it.
Thank you.
And that's it. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
There you go, folks. That was my talk with Eva Solveig. Thanks so much, Eva. So nice to meet you and chat with you. It was a delight. And one more time for my plugs, go check out my Twitter at EJ Scott and at EJ Podcast, Instagram EJ Scott 1106, website ejscott.com. My charities, crowdrise.com/7on7, The Running Blind documentary on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon. And this worked out fine. Eva going over to a stranger's apartment on Faith, but just be careful out there. I just want to just be careful out there. And if you like my podcast, please share it and check out my past podcasts. Go subscribe for future podcasts on iTunes. I'm also on iHeartRadio now. I'm on the app iHeartRadio. So go check that out if that's better for you. And that'll do it. That'll do it for us, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.